Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Divine Intervention. I'm your host, Lexi, and today I'll be conversing with my beautiful 88-year-old great grandmother, Deanna Chatelain. How's it going?
Good.
So, you grew up in the Ninth Ward in New Orleans in the 30s, like the late 30s, early 40s.
Right.
Okay. And so I want to talk about what New Orleans looked like at that period of time.
Well, it was very nice. They had streetcars and you had to walk where you wanted to go.
You walked pretty much all over.
Oh, yeah.
Did you take the streetcar?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think one time you were telling me that Canal Street was a place that you would go to when you were all dressed up.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's not like that
No.
anymore.
Well, church was the same way. You couldn't go to church unless you were dressed. You couldn't wear pants. You had to have a hat or a scarf on your head.
Can you talk a little more about how safe New Orleans was when you were a
Very,
little
very,
girl?
very safe. I'd come home 9 o'clock at night and walk about 5 blocks. I'd go to the show, come back and walk back by myself and never had a problem. People were on their porch and they'd tell me good night and they'd watch me till I got to the next part and then another neighbor would be out and people were very, very friendly. And there was no
There
just,
was no
no,
segregation. Okay.
on the bus, a streetcar, there was no trouble.
I really want to talk about your earliest memories as a little girl, involving like your grandparents and how your childhood unraveled. What do you remember the most?
I guess around 5, and I'd go to my grandma and grandpa's, and the rest of the family would visit there too. And uh, then eventually my grandmother and grandpa got sick, and they were each in a bed, and the girls, the daughters, would take care of them.
Okay. But when you were a young girl, you said that you were like your grandpa's favorite,
Unfortunately,
and you said that they had a piano in their house. And what
yes,
would you do with the piano?
sit on it.
So you would sit on the keys,
Yeah.
and then your grandma would fuss.
Well, yeah, she'd say, "Don't do that," and my grandpa would say, "Leave her alone. She's having fun."
Aw, that's sweet. So your grandparents were German. What did you learn about German culture from spending time with them?
My grandfather was a carpenter, and naturally, my grandmother just stayed home. And she had 7 children. And everybody'd sit at the table, and then after we ate, we'd eat fruit,
You'd have fruit for dessert.
oranges and apples.
And that's how I am now. Everyone in our family loves sugar, but I only eat fruit for dessert. So that must be the German roots coming out. It's funny how life circles back like that, right?
Right. Now,
Yeah.
my daddy, my daddy was Irish. And so that's German, French, Irish, a little bit of everything.
Can you tell me about the French Quarter and the community? And I think once you mentioned that there were bar rooms on every corner.
Yes, they were. Rooms on every corner, and people would go get a pitcher of beer and bring it home. Very few people stayed there and drank. Most of them would go home. Fats Domino lived down the street from us. And then when I graduated, we go to Bourbon Street and listen to jazz.
Yeah, how big of an influence did jazz have on your life?
Um, well, there was about 5 of us that would go and almost spend all night and then go home. Not that we drank, we just went and listened to the music.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, you could do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do now. That's what I do now that I don't drink and don't do drugs. I just go and listen to music and enjoy myself. And it's fun being comfortable enough to dance even without having alcohol in your system. Like you don't need it, you know?
Well, very alcohol wasn't that prevalent. I mean, you get a mixed drink of beer, but that was about it. Nobody um, really got drunk, to get sick.
Okay. And so you used to go to Pat O'Brien's, the dual piano bar with your aunt, right?
Hmm.
What was her name?
Mabel.
Mabel. Did you ever drink a hurricane?
I never did, but one carnival when my sister-in-law and my brother took me to canals right after Camille hurricane,
Okay.
and my sister-in-law said, "Let's get a hurricane." I said, "Okay." Oh
In
my
commemoration of the hurricane.
gosh! Oh, you get diabetes off of one sip. So we kept going to the bartender and saying, "Put water in this. Put water." He says, "This is the first time anybody ever came and wanted water in a hurricane."
And to this day, you add water to every
Everything,
drink.
everything.
And that's where it started.
Mm.
Those early moments of your life when you lived in New Orleans and it was still safe and you didn't have to worry so much about crime and violence, like that really shaped who you were as a person. And
Yeah.
then as you got older, World War II came about and you had to deal with blackouts and all of that. What can you tell me more about that part of
And
your life?
um, food was rationed, and you get stamps to buy different things. And my daddy ran a boat across out in the Mississippi.
Okay.
And one time, um, a ship let go a whole bunch of butter.
Butter?
Yeah, they couldn't sell it because it wasn't like a brand name or anything. So they just threw it in the Mississippi, and my daddy picked it up.
The butter?
Yeah, it was in a container.
Oh my gosh. It was just floating?
Mhm.
And what did he do with it?
Brought it home.
And so you told me you had chickens in your
No,
backyard?
no, my aunt they had a store, a meat market, and she would kill chickens and pluck them.
The good old days. And you knew where your meat was coming from?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. And you said that the phones you had to dial in and you could only talk to someone within a certain range.
Yeah, and you had a party line.
Okay, explain what a party line
Okay, a
is.
party line is three or four other people that are on the same line you on.
Okay, the same phone number.
Yes, no, no, different phone numbers,
Okay.
but same. And then you really kind of had to, respect they had time. In other words, you get on the phone, say what you had to say, and get off.
Okay.
And
And so if they were on the phone and you picked it up, you would be able to hear their conversation.
yes,
Did you ever snoop on anyone?
no, but we had one party line. One person on our party would talk and talk and talk, and you'd pick up the phone, put it down, pick up it, and the object was if you picked it up and put it down, somebody wanted to use the phone, so you'd hang up. You know,
Okay.
well, she wouldn't. So my daddy said, "I'm gonna fix her." So he took the phone. The phone, it was a room. The phone was in right next to the bathroom, and he put the phone in the toilet, and he flushed the toilet.
Oh.
Well, she never did stay long on the phone anymore.
That's so crazy. Were there ever times where you would stay on the phone gossiping
Oh
and
no, no, no,
never?
no! Because we'd walk to my friend lived a block and a half down the street, and we'd go to her in her house, and but people were closer. You know,
In proximity?
I was raised in the Catholic Church. my daddy wasn't Catholic, but my mother was. And he respected us going to church. And when I made my communion and my confirmation, well, he was there, but other than that, he wouldn't go to church. And he ended up being a Mason, and the reason he was a Mason was because that was the only way he could get a job.
And so, how did you feel about the Catholic Church? Because I know you've told me a lot of your belief system has evolved, especially in the past year or two. And you've kind of like seen through the lies and the false lens that religion in general gives to people. You told me that you had a friend named Janet, right? And so, can you tell everyone about?
Well, we were making our first communion, and Janet had come in her mouth, and she was in church. So she went to confession, and she told the priest that she had chewed gum in church. And he said, "Well, you have to get out. You're not going to receive communion." So that was the end of Janet. But we should have followed Janet.
And how did that make you feel?
Well, I felt sorry for her because chewing gum. I mean, what did that have to do with God? You know?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't one of the 10 Commandments. I chewed gum in church.
So you were kind of like,
Well,
that's
I started to question different things. And as I got along, my husband was a very, very, very good Catholic. And I would never go against.
back in the day, you didn't really go against what your partner,
Right,
what
yeah.
your spouse did, especially as a woman. You were like taught to conform in that way.
One time we went to church and your grandmother fell asleep in church. And the priest was talking about, I don't know what, going to heaven or hell. And he said, "Are you ready?" And she was sleeping. She jumped up. She said, "Yeah, let's go." And naturally, we were sitting up in the front of the church.
That
So,
was Donna. Shout out Granny D. Can you explain to the viewers what you observed with your dad and his relationship with the Catholic Church, especially in relation to his mother's passing?
his mother got off the bus and she walked in front of the bus, and the bus driver hit her, and she was dying. And back then, it was a big deal to get the last rites and all that.
The last rites from the Catholic
So
priest.
my daddy wanted, she wanted to have it. So he went to church and he asked the priest, he said, "My mother just got hit by a bus, would you?" And it wasn't that far from where he was.
He just ran to the nearest church.
Yes. Well, that was the church that they went to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he said, she would like the last rites. And he said, "Well, I can't come because I'm going fishing."
So the priest was too busy
Going fishing.
going fishing.
So that was the end of my daddy religion experience.
Religion experience. Okay. Wow. Yeah, and that definitely says a lot, right?
Oh, right.
It seems from a very, very early age, you began to question your beliefs when it came to God and religion and what you were being told God was really all about. And so, fast forward to 2025,
And I
and
went down more rabbit holes.
she's been down the rabbit hole, people. And just in this past year alone, I've seen you open up to a whole new world, a whole new idea, a whole new perception of what reality is truly all about. Like,
Well, I still believe in God, but I'm a Christian, not any religion, because all religions were man made
exactly.
for money.
And God is so much bigger than what man can comprehend.
And I always prayed to Mary, Blessed Virgin Mary. All your aunts have Mary in their name. And I always felt like why wasn't she talked about? Or what did she do after she had Jesus, which that isn't his name?
What's his name?
I can't pronounce.
Yeshua?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Like even in the Bible, you can tell that as much wisdom as the Bible holds, it's still written by a man,
by men,
by
yes.
men.
Well, you see, like I told you, and I don't know why this happened, but um, and it sounds, I don't know, strange, but God came to me, and it wasn't a dream. I just can't explain what it was. And he told me, he said, you're going to see things in the rest of your life that you're not going to believe. And he held up a Bible.
A Bible.
And he said, don't believe everything you're reading here.
Yeah.
I don't know why he came to me. I'm not that religious, let's face it.
But for whatever reason, you needed to know that, so that,
Well, as I go along, I'm understanding more of what I was told because I do see things that I thought were right, were real, that weren't.
like what?
Food, government, celebrities, all of this is false.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of made me start questioning everything. And if I could tell you and your audience anything, it's question everything. Don't believe everything you hear
Yeah.
or you read.
Yeah. Yeah. And I truly believe that we all have a very distinct personal relationship with God in our own language. Like, you can't hear what God is telling me, right? And I can't hear what God's telling you. And that's why it can seem so confusing to people who are looking at like from outward in because they don't know what you're really supposed to be doing.
Well, I think by them saying God's within you means that He's not in you, but He wants you to lead a life the way He's led it. You know,
Well, I do think that's what Jesus meant when he said that he was going to come back, right? And people are like they take that very literally of, oh,
no,
okay,
no, you're
Jesus is
right.
going to come
No,
back. Like, what? Jesus
and
is coming back through you,
right,
through you. And I do think that we are all we have this essence of God within us, and everything around us is God.
and it's not. It's how you treat people. It's how you live.
Yeah.
It's how you accept things and you don't accept things.
Yeah, I believe that heaven and hell are states that we're currently experiencing, depending on how closely we're following God through our intuition. God is speaking to me always, and I know it because when my soul lights up and I'm super passionate about something, that's an indicator to me that this is what I'm meant to be doing right now.
Well,
And
I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I do believe that religion puts a fear in you that, oh, if I don't go to church every Sunday, if I don't give money to the church, no, God never asked for money. God walked in sandals on dirt floor, and he went up against people that were uh, lepers and um,
right, Jesus, he was never denying anyone. He
no, no,
he was friends with
and
everyone.
the religions scare you into,
Judging people.
yeah,
I personally do feel like the Bible has a lot to offer when it comes to lessons and the way that history repeats itself, like as a historical book. But what I think people miss out on is by relying only on the Bible to lead you through life, you're relying on this extremely outdated version of text that, like, the people in the Bible who are channeling God, you have that same ability to channel God. You're under this false pretense that, oh, only the people who wrote this book were capable of having a relationship and communicating with God. But the reality is that we all have that ability. And giving away your ability to talk to God by just relying on what someone else has to say,
But
you have your own wisdom that is being
but
shared.
they were all men.
Yeah, and they were all men. And that goes back to yoga too, like I have been studying yoga for 13 years and I love philosophy, but I also am conscious that majority of what I'm studying was from a man's perspective.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, we're
Well, that's one
evolving.
thing that had me. I mean, I always prayed to Mary. She wasn't in the Bible. And what blew my mind is Christmas. Jesus was not born on Christmas.
Yeah.
They changed the calendar.
And Jesus was not white.
No, no, he was brown. But the whole thing is control.
Yep.
And that's not what Jesus wanted.
Yep.
He wanted you to have free will, free mind.
Yeah, he wanted you to tend to your relationship with God and stop relying on man. Stop worshiping these idols. I want to touch base on your early adult life. I know you used to frequent Pontchartrain Beach. So can you tell us a bit more about Pontchartrain Beach?
Well, we used to go there every weekend. It was a place to go.
And
It
what
was
was it
free.
like? It was free, and what did they have?
They had a Zephyr, they had a Ferris wheel, and they had different carousel, different things, and they had restaurants.
Okay.
And then they had, as you walked in, there was a Zephyr, and then there was like concessions like popcorn and drinks and ice cream and
So it's like a carnival.
yes, and oh, it smelled so good.
You can smell it now.
Yeah, the popcorn.
And so, is it true that you met Elvis?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell me more about that?
Well, we went to listen to him. He,
And this was before he blew up.
oh yeah, yeah. He was just a nice looking young man. He was very polite and very friendly. And I wish he would have given me a ring.
A ring?
They his diamond rings.
You told me. Oh, he wore diamond rings? I was going to say, you told me you weren't attracted to him.
Oh, I definitely wasn't, but I mean, other people rings. He could have gave me one. But he was very nice, and he was in front of his convertible, and he was just telling people, because people didn't, he wasn't popular. You know, people just went and saw him. And
Okay, can you tell me how you met my great grandpa?
he was, I graduated from high school, and I got a job. First, I got a job as a mail girl. That didn't last too long. Then I got a job with an engineering firm, and I was a statistical typist. And the people I worked with young people, you know, we were all young. And my boss said that his brother just got out of the Air Force and would I go out on a date with him? And I said, sure. I will, because my boss was very, very nice. And I knew his wife. And I said,
Was your
sure.
boss good looking?
I guess so. I don't know.
Well, he later became your brother in law,
Yeah,
but
right.
you had an idea, okay, he might be cute, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he was just coming out of the service, you know. So I went out with him, and this was in July. on my birthday.
On your birthday, you had a blind date.
Yes. And we went to the show. We went out, and then I was staying by my aunt's house because my mom and dad went on vacation and I had to work, so I didn't go. And I told my aunt, I said, I don't know if I want to go out with him again. He was very nice, and we had a nice time. She says, well, you don't have to marry him.
Why do you think you were reluctant to go out with him?
Because he was short.
How tall was he? Like 5'10"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And you told me once, you told me that he wasn't ever the type of guy you would pick out in a crowd, but he was exactly who you needed.
well, he was very smart, and he was nice looking. Anyway, I went out with him again, and then we had a couple of more dates, and he asked me to marry him. In 3 months, we got married, and it only lasted 48 years. We went to the drive-in, and he said, will you marry me? And I said, I can't tell you today because my horoscope said that not to make any decisions. So call me tomorrow and I'll let you know.
And this is where I get it from, people.
So he called and I said, yes, I'll marry you, but you have to come talk to my daddy first.
Okay.
And so he came and talked to my daddy, and my daddy thought he was a very nice young man.
And they worked for the same company.
Well,
And you
not,
didn't
they
even
didn't know it at the time because my daddy was a welder and my husband was in working chemicals.
Okay, but same company,
Yes,
just
same
different
company.
stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to talk about how your marriage was really like the foundation for everything else that happened in your life, and how you were celibate before until you got
Oh,
married, right?
definitely. Yes, he was too.
And that was super normal.
Hmm.
And you think that had a lot to do with the success of your marriage?
I think that it depends upon you. That's what we did. That's how it
Yeah.
was. I don't know about anybody else that was my
Did you
age.
ever wish that you had sex with someone else?
No.
So you've only had sex with one person that your
Yes. All my
entire
life.
life?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Can you tell me what you believe are the main ingredients to a lasting partnership?
I can't tell you that because you have to live it. And every day might be different. Some days it's 100 and nothing. Some days it's 50-50. It's just what comes up, how you're going to handle it.
And how you told me you guys leaned on one another,
Right.
and no matter what hard times
Yeah.
came
I,
about.
I mean, I can't talk for him, but I don't think he ever, from what I mean, he was always faithful to me, and I was always faithful to him.
And you said you're always honest with one another,
Yes.
which I
The
agree is
main
really
thing to be
important.
honest about is money. He went to work, come home. He didn't like some guys that he worked with. They had a carpool and they'd stop at a ballroom. And he said, I'm taking my own car because I want to come home. I don't want to stop at no ballroom.
Yeah. And you
And
said that towards the end of his life, he told you if there was one thing that he regretted,
he'd
it,
spend more time, stop working as hard as he did and spend more time with his family and his children.
hmm
But when he retired, my God, he loved y'all.
he built a huge playhouse. He always had citrus trees all over the garden, and he had tomatoes.
Cabbage.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember spending a lot of my childhood outside with him, which was
He
amazing.
was from the country, and the country was still in him, and it's a country boy and a city girl,
Yeah.
which I don't think his family understood, but he didn't care.
So I only have a couple more questions for you for today's episode. If you had the opportunity to sit down with a younger version of yourself, if you were able to go back in time and have a conversation with the child version of Deanna, what would you tell her?
Um, First of all, don't work your life away. There's other things that you can do. Don't stick to one job for 40 years or 50 years. If there's another opportunity to go, go. Don't let a job hold you back, because if they want to, they'll get rid of you. And marriage is a commitment. Make sure that's what you want to make and he wants to make.
What is it that you want to be remembered for?
A good grandma. I want to be remembered that whenever y'all needed me, I was there to help you, because that's my main thing in life.
Yeah, and you always, always, always have. So,
I love all my children, and I'm very proud.
and we're so grateful to have you in our lives still, even though you've been joking about dying for 20 years and you're still as sharp as a tack.
Look, I don't care if you put this in or not, but I get a message from, we found somebody that's looking for you in school that graduate. Been out of school for 50. No, everybody's dead. They I went to school with. Nobody's looking for me.
I don't know. Maybe one person's out there.
I don't know.
One or two or three people.
But I bet they got more complaints and aches and pains than I do.
Yeah, you're in great shape. And you're mentally sharp too. You know,
Thank you.
you've
Thank you.
stayed with the times. You haven't let yourself go. And that's super admirable and inspiring.
Well, I tried to. Tried to keep up with y'all.
There's one last question that I ask every guest on the show. When is it that you feel God's presence the most in your life?
It's not one thing. It's just there.
Yeah.
You know, it's right there. And I feel like maybe in some way I'm doing what he expects me to be a good person.
Yeah. And
And
that's when you feel his presence, when
yes,
you're showing up in that you're like stepping into the highest version of yourself,
right.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you all for listening. It has been such a pleasure and honor, and the sun has almost gone completely down on us, but we lasted, and I love you so much.
I
I'm
love you
grateful
too.
for every moment that we spend together and everything you've taught me, even as a young girl. I have such fond memories of my childhood that you made a reality, you know, just
Well,
you made
it was
my
my
childhood
pleasure, and I'm
magic.
only too happy that I have that.
You used to have ice cream sundaes on deck. Remember? I think I had 3 ice cream sundaes a day. But that was some of the most enjoyable, memorable times of my life.
Well, I'm glad, and I hope you know that I was there for you.
You have shown up throughout everything. I'm almost 30 years old now, and you have always been there. And even when we haven't always agreed, you always give me the
Well,
space and
we
room.
disagreed. We to agree. We
Yeah.
agreed to disagree, and
Yeah.
that's life.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your opinion, and I have mine. But I'm never going to turn my back on you.
Yeah.
You can
Because
always
that's what love is.
right. You
I
can
don't have to like you, but I love you,
right,
and nothing will ever change that. And
and
that's what unconditional love really is.
and I've always been there for you, and that's what I want you to know.
Always. You have. Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too. Bye, everybody. Bye.